white people say some of the most offensive shit on the internet. They got the right to say it. It's freedom of speech. A lot of it is hateful. I see some hateful shit on the internet. You got to take the good with the bad. And it's unfortunate as hell. People saying he should be expelled for that. That's not my place to say such a thing. That's not my place to say it, because I'm not in a position of power. Welcome back. If you're watching this right now, you probably feel just like me, just another number. And today, on today's episode, we're going to talk about the First Amendment, or free speech. So let's talk about it. We in America, we have the First Amendment. And what the First Amendment contains, the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution is the first of the 10 amendments that form the Bill of Rights. It protects fundamental freedoms, including freedom of religion, speech, the press, assembly, and the right to petition the government, basically for a redress of grievances. So that's free speech. You know, freedom of religion. Go look up the history. You know the history. At least you're supposed to. So we have that. Within that free speech, you have different varieties of free speech. It could be loving speech, moderate speech, ugly speech, even hate speech. And so let's talk a little bit about hate speech right quick. In the United States, hate speech is a term with a varied meaning and does not have a single consistent legal definition. While it is often used in common language to refer to offensive discourse that targets individuals or groups based on characteristics like race, religion, gender, or sexual orientation, most of what is considered hate speech is protected under the First Amendment. The U.S. Supreme Court has repeatedly affirmed that the government cannot restrict speech simply because it's hateful or offensive. This is based on the principle that the First Amendment protects even unpopular and disagreeable ideas to encourage robust public debate. However, there are certain categories of speech that are not protected by the First Amendment, and these can sometimes overlap with what is commonly called hate speech. These unprotected categories include incitement to imminent lawless action, speech that is intended to and is likely to produce immediate illegal acts. True threats, statements that communicate a serious expression of intent to commit an act of unlawful violence against a particular individual or group. Fighting words. Yeah, fighting words. Words that are personally abusive and are likely to incite an immediate violent reaction from the person to whom they are addressed. Yeah, black people know a little bit about something like that. Defamation. False statements of fact that harm a person's reputation. So look, you saw the title of the video, free speech, hate speech, and then this presents itself to have a number of challenges for the country because you have this freedom, so to speak, and then you have, America is not like a lot of countries. It's not like a monolithic country or what's the word I'm looking for? Homogenous, maybe? Is that the word? Could be wrong. What I'm saying is there are different races of people, different categories of people that reside in America. It's not like a monolith. People are going to have various different opinions because you have so many cultures in this country, a true melting pot, if you will. But then you have those who resist the melting pot. They don't like the fact that there are so many different ethnicities or different people over here. And, you know, they're allowed to express what it is that they feel. So the part that I read where it said fighting words, right? Fighting words. It's not protected. Fighting words are not protected, right? So with that being said, for the people that still don't seem to comprehend or understand why black people get upset when you call them the N-word and then they have an unnatural reaction. You know, you calling them the N-word is not protected speech. It's not. Using slurs is not protected speech. But see, we have so many trolls out here in the world that they'll bait you. You know, Mexicans have their, basically, pretty much every group of people has a slur name about them. And if you call them that, they're more likely to get aggressive, maybe even violent. Because it's a slur. It's offensive. And people out here in this world, in this day and age, all they want to do is bait you. They want to, you know, especially if they have it on their mind that, hey, I want to sue this person. Or I want to antagonize this people. Or in some sick, sadistic ways, in their mind, they just want to prove a point. So they'll call you that slur and then watch you react. It's essentially like poking the bear and then playing victim. How can you play victim when you said what you said to a person that you know that is offensive? All these trolls, whether it's on the internet, most of the time it doesn't happen in real life, but sometimes it can. But most of the time it happens on the internet because everyone wants to feel safe when they get to calling people out their names, something they most likely would not do if it was IRL in real life. So free speech. Lately, and I got some clips that I'm gonna play on the show today because I want to get into it. This might be a little longer of a video than I've made. Lately, people, since the Charlie Kirk situation happened, you got people on the right that get all offended. They get offended because all the groups that he targeted, some people celebrated his passing, some people mourned. In other words, the right and the far right have literally tried to police people's reaction to his passing. But you didn't say anything while the man was alive. Matter of fact, not only did you not say anything, you were justifying the words that were coming out of his mouth when he was attacking different groups of people because you agreed with the sentiments. You agree with it. So there was nothing to say. There's nothing to see here because you agreed with it. But now you're starting to see the other side of that coin. You see? The other side of that coin is those people that were being attacked also have free speech. And they're utilizing their free speech. And now they're saying things that you don't like, that you don't subscribe to, that you don't agree with. And now you guys are having all this crazy backlash. Now you're trying to get people fired from their jobs, huh? You're basically, you know, what is it? DDoSing, not DDoSing. Basically, you're trying to track down people, get all their information, find out about them, swatting, whatever you want to call it. You're trying to get people fired from their jobs because they're utilizing their same free speech. It was okay. It's okay when y'all did it, when y'all trolled, when y'all annoyed other people because you didn't feel the effects of it. But now you're starting to feel the fucking effects of it and you don't like it because, oh, now it doesn't feel so good. Right? Doesn't feel good now, huh? And don't get things twisted here, all right? I don't agree with everything that's being said on the internet. Okay? but I am in no position to be able to police someone else's opinion. Hell, go look at the video that I did on Black MAGA. Hell, the people that commented, a lot of them didn't agree with nothing I said. And yeah, I was back and forth with some of them in the comments. I don't care. They have the right to express their free speech. Guess what I'm doing? The same exact thing. You say what you have to say. I'm going to say what I have to say. Right? And I know this is all over the internet. What am I going to get upset for? Huh? See, I know the game. I know the tricks. You know? I'm just doing it because it's my right as an American, right? To utilize my free speech. You're not going to silence me, right? So, everyone's free speech does not look the same, or it doesn't sound the same. How about that, right? Everyone's free speech does not sound the same. People are going to say things you don't like. They're going to say things you disagree with tremendously. And it's all about how you react to it. How do you react to it? Depends. Depends on the topic. Depends on how the conversation is going. Depends on if they call you out of your name or they utilize those elements of, the First Amendment that are not protected. But anyhow, I'm going to get right into this first video. And it's a clip of a man asking some brothers on the street about the Charlie Kirk situation. And they're utilizing their version. They're utilizing, excuse me, jeez. They're utilizing their free speech. So that's what we're going to get into right now.
Guys, how do you feel about Charlie Kirk being assassinated on a college campus? Do you think your freedom of speech is still protected in America?
I feel like regardless of what you say and what you do, that type of stuff happens every day. That's my opinion on it.
Death happens every day. Do you think you should be murdered for your opinion?
No, I don't think you should be murdered, but let's be honest, he had it coming based on everything he was saying and what he believed in. So the way I see it, he lived by the gun, he died by the gun.
Okay. So I'm trying to understand. Do you think because he spread his opinion more, that brought him in more danger?
Correct.
So what do you think about the First Amendment, right? The right to free speech. The more you use it, the maybe you're liable for death.
Don't get me wrong, I believe in free speech. I believe everybody, within the United States of America should have an opinion to, be themselves and express their opinions. But some opinions are a little too extreme for you to be so eager to spread out, To me, in my opinion, I believe that Charlie Kirk spread nothing but hate.
Okay.
Especially, not gonna lie, when he said that if his 10-year-old daughter got raped, he was still forced to have the baby, that alone just tells me like, yeah, bro, you're gonna have it coming to you.
This is this man's opinion. This is this man's opinion. You may not agree with it, but it's his opinion. He was asked a question and he's given his opinion. I'm gonna finish the rest of the video, but a lot of people will disagree with this opinion. But it's his right as an American, right? I just read to you what the Supreme Court said about freedom of speech and what's protected and what's not. It's his right.
Do you think there's another kind of answer to spreading that kind of hate other than the death of yourself?
Yes, I do, but unfortunately, some people are willing to take it to that extreme. So it may be other options, but for right now, that's the one that was taken. So.
Okay. Do you think college campuses should still be an open forum for debate and discussion in America?
Yes, because universities are meant to challenge your thoughts. Again, I don't believe that no one should die based on their opinions, but I do respect why he did it at college campuses, because again, college campuses are meant to be places where you're supposed to challenge your thoughts. How can I say this? They'll either they either strengthen your thoughts or make you like think. They'll make you like rethink everything that you ever thought in your life if you go to like like I said. So
I think that's very important. I think talking to one another and hearing each other's perspective on life only makes each other grow.
Exactly.
Is there anything else you guys want to say?
we live in Philly, bro.
Yeah.
you die for being born on a certain block. Bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it being like pretty crazy as it is, but like.
Do you think that should change?
I feel like it should. I feel like it ain't though.
Yeah, like that's the only problem. Like everybody says that they want Philly to change, but like.
Yeah. They gave their opinions. They gave their version of free speech. Okay. And look, you don't have to agree with everything the brother said. Okay. You don't have to agree with every single thing. And I'm gonna go look at some of the comments on that particular video. Right. So I don't think you deserve to get shot, but he had it coming. Does anybody realize that the second half of that statement contradicts the first half? I oppose this outcome for you, but your actions justify it regardless. Right? So here's how some people responded. If Charlie Kirk instead taught all his supporters how to fix cars and invest into stocks, do you think we would be having this conversation right now? That's a good question. In a time like this, in the world, yes, you should be able to voice your opinion, but it's how you do it. We live in a generation where folks take things to heart and may misinterpret what another person may say. So yes, he did in fact have it coming. Again, not my words, it's theirs. He had it coming because guns are so easy to get. Do you really think a psycho was not going to try to assassinate him? Yeah, I don't know. He's saying it wasn't supposed to happen, but he had it coming because he said bold things in this crazy world of crazy people. Sometimes it be like that. You know, people are gonna have their opinions, okay? My personal opinion about it, I don't think I've given it on this channel. I've said it on other platforms. Look, I don't condone what happened to him. I've said this before. I don't condone what happened, but it happened. Okay? I don't feel bad about it. Because most people don't feel bad about the crimes and atrocities that have been committed throughout the histories and that are currently being committed, whether in this country or outside of this country. Whether the stuff that Israel's doing right now in Gaza, no one seems to care about that. No one seems to care about, what Russia's doing in Ukraine. No one seems to care about that. And in both situations, we can talk about in Africa and the Congo and everything, because Lord knows, God, no one gives a shit about the Congo or anything going on in Africa, especially in this fucking country. I mean, obviously I care, but what I'm getting at is women and children are being eliminated. Just because, I think that's part of the problem, because just because you don't see it happening, people don't give a shit. Out of sight, out of mind. That's the truth of the matter. So, everybody has their right to feel whatever way they want to feel. What I would have said publicly, he had it coming? No, I wouldn't have said that publicly. But again, that's the brother's opinion. Now, was that speech protected? Seems like it to me. All right, but I'm gonna move on to this next one. Because this next one, to some people, to a lot of people, may be disturbing. And let's play it.
Everybody has not because of my name is Tony.
Oh, buddy. Fuck that nigga. You're gonna get expelled, dude.
What about that? What about that? Is that protected? Do you consider that hate speech? Yeah, he was mocking. He was mocking. He was mocking. Would I have done that? Absolutely not. I don't condone it. I don't condone it. But again, this is freedom of speech, right? I mean, because don't get it twisted. I see and hear white people say some of the most offensive shit on the internet. They got the right to say it. It's freedom of speech, right? And a lot of it is hateful. I see some hateful shit on the internet. Freedom of speech. In other words, you got to take the good with the bad. And it's unfortunate as hell. It's unfortunate. But that's what it is. And people saying he should be expelled for that. That's not my place to say such a thing. That's not my place to say it. Because I'm not in a position of power. Right? And of course you can go into hypotheticals. You could say, well, what if you were? What if you were in a position of power? Would I have expelled him? Probably not. Being honest, I probably would not have expelled. Well, I'm gonna expel you for what'd you do? Yeah, you mocked someone in death. You did. Is it illegal? No. It's not illegal. It's immoral as hell. The thing about this freedom of speech shit, the freedom of speech thing. Look, I've said it in the past. Many people have said it many a day in America. You can have freedom of speech, but you can't have freedom of consequences. Correct? The question I want to ask, the thing I want to understand is, who determines those consequences? Who determines them? Right? Are you the judge? Are you the jury? Are you the executioner? Who determines one's consequences for their actions or their speech? Who polices that? Who has the legitimate authority to do that? That's what I want to get to the bottom of. Is it the government? Is it the church? Is it the average citizen? Whose authority do consequences fall under? Who has that jurisdiction? Right? I'm just trying to get to the bottom of it. Right? Because I got another video that I'm going to play with Nick Fuentes. He says some things that were very offensive to me as a black man. You know? But guess what? According to that definition that I read to you, some of his speech was not protected. And I'm going to play it so you can understand why it's not protected.
Go ahead. Try me. Do it. Seriously. We could run it all over again. I didn't come this far after 10 years to now start playing fucking games. This is my entire adult life. I'm in it. So, say what you want. Say what you want, destroy my reputation. Nothing will stop me. Nothing will stop America first. There has to be one righteous person in this country. And I'm not even saying it's me. I don't even think I'm a very good person, necessarily. But I'll tell you one thing, I'm not doing it for the reasons everybody else is doing this stuff. Because I've met them all, and I know them all, and they're all full of shit. There's gotta be one real nigga. Can the real nigga please stand up? There has to be one real nigga left in America, in this damn country. Are there any real niggas left that aren't doing advertisements for gold and fucking pills? Are there any real niggas left that actually got censored and banned on YouTube? Where's the real niggas? And I'll die just to inspire another generation of them. I'll tell you who's a real nigga. Kanye West. Ye is a real nigga. I'm another kid from Chicago like him. I'm a real nigga. And I know that with everything I've done to this point, notwithstanding whatever happens tomorrow or the next day or any other day, I know there's 1,000 real niggas that are inspired by watching the show. And they may have a lot of people fooled. Maybe in the end of it, they'll have a lot of people fooled. Maybe they'll get you to think I'm a horrible person, whatever. I know there's at least 1,000 real-ass niggas that watch the show, are smart enough to understand what I'm saying. They're gonna take this information and they're gonna blow up the second Death Star.
Now see, according to what I read to you, according to the U.S. Constitution, or I'm sorry, maybe not the Constitution, but the Supreme Court who interprets said Constitution, fighting words would not be protected. They repeatedly said the N-word, repeatedly, over and over and over and over again. You know, now granted, he was saying it within the comfort of his own fucking studio, and I'm pretty confident no other black people that were around. And if they were, then them just some fucking raccoons. Look, man, those are fighting words. What reason do you have to say that word? You're not even a part of black culture, right? What other reason would you be saying that shit? I mean, because he said it in the clip, you know, he ain't a good person. No, you're not a good person, clearly. I mean, you demonstrate that all by yourself. You don't need anyone else to tell you that. We can see that on you, you know? But he has the right to do exactly what I'm doing, crack his mic on, and talk his shit. He has that right. See, the difference between me and him is I ain't using slurs. I'm not attacking or just disparaging any groups of people. I'm not doing that. No, I fundamentally disagree. With him. It's his right to have his freedom of speech, right? I wouldn't take that away from him. But the use of the N-word, well, that's the situation is where you get what's coming to you. You get what you get. And I can legally say that because why? Those are deemed to be fighting words. It's a slur. And then don't give me the excuse of black people use it against the shut up. Well, yeah. Of course we do. We shouldn't. Who has the authority to say that we shouldn't? Even if other black people agree with the sentiment that we should not be saying that word, fine. That's a discussion and a debate amongst ourselves. That's for the black culture to decide. That is not for any outsider to jump in and decide that for us. How about you stay out of black folks' business? Because we sure as fuck stay out of y'all business. We just want to be left the fuck alone, honestly. But y'all don't seem to leave black folks alone. You know, and I'm definitely gonna do a video in the future talking about, you know, all the cities, all the black cities that were burned down by white people. You know, because I want to tie into the people that is trying to build the all-white community out there in, what is it, Oklahoma or somewhere? Wherever it is. Or Missouri or wherever the fuck it is. I had to go back and look it up. But I'm gonna have it all tie in together. I look forward to making that video. But again, his speech, that portion of it, was not protected. Fighting words. Of course, if you're white, I don't expect you to understand, even though you should if you know your history. But the uneducated whites, they don't understand. And they'll never understand. They don't get it. Because what's true in this world is people genuinely don't know or don't care until it starts affecting them. They don't give a shit until it starts affecting them. Now, what's a slur that you could call a white person? What's a slur that you could call a white person and them get offended? What's fighting words for them? I don't know. Do you know? Do you have any idea? Do you know? Because I know what some of them are for Mexicans. I know what some of them are for, you know, a couple words for the Italians, the things that get under their skin. Obviously, you know what it is for black folks. Pretty sure I know some of them for indigenous people, you know, the Native Americans. But you didn't hear me. You didn't hear me exerting my free speech saying any of those slurs, did you? I just said the N-word, and I can say it. I can say it, but I don't say it on this channel like that. I don't say it. It's just the N-word. Right? Now, what I do off camera, what I do off mic, what I do around my people, that's between us. That ain't everybody's business, right? Because I'm very aware about the content that I put out in the open. I'm very aware of what I put out here to be consumed by the masses, because regardless whether you're a podcaster, whether you're a YouTuber, or whether you're a TikToker, if you're anybody out here in these internet streets that make content, you know what you're doing? You know what you're doing? You're creating a legacy, a lasting legacy. That's what we're all doing, whether you realize it consciously, subconsciously, or just not at all. You're creating a lasting legacy. So whatever you put out here in the ecos, whatever you put out here in the atmosphere, is what you're going to be remembered by. So I'm very aware of the content that I put out, because I would like to at least be somewhat looked at graciously when my time comes. I don't want to be known as a hate monger, even though I may have enemies, which I do. I have people that despite me, and I'm keeping, not despite, that I have people that spite me and don't like me and hate on me, even though I keep it tame. I don't go as far as I could. Primarily because that's not the legacy I want to leave behind. So I don't want to go too far off base. But these were just some examples. These were just some examples of, look, free speech. People having their right to say whatever it is that they want. And yeah, it's offensive. Things can be offensive. Right? But, you know, for the protected parts, for the protected version of free speech, they're permissible. Not the ones that are not. You don't get the right to just go out here and call somebody a slur, or, or in Charlie Kirk's situation, make disparaging comments. If you see a black pilot, you start questioning, is he or she qualified to fly the plane? Come on now. Yeah, you got the right to say it, but why are you even saying it? Why is something like that even in your heart? But T, stay on. Hey, like I said, I ain't got nothing good to say about Charlie Kirk. But the only thing I would defend is his right to speak his mind. That's it. So, and there's so many different things I wanted to talk about with this video about, the people getting fired, people losing their jobs for literally quoting Charlie Kirk in his own words. You're just using Charlie Kirk's words, and people are losing their jobs for quoting Charlie Kirk. So why was it okay for him to say the things that he was saying? But then when you use his own words, people are losing their jobs. Or in the case of this young black brother, mocking Charlie Kirk's death. No, that wasn't right. Not at all. But then they want to say they want to expel the brother. Again, like I say, who gets to determine those consequences? You would say the school, because he goes to the school, so they have the right to expel him? What exactly did he do wrong according to your rules, your guidelines? I mean, I don't go there. I don't know. That's what I would ask. Because it may be reprehensible, morally incorrect, morally wrong. But don't we have to separate the professional? I don't know. This is me asking a question. And, you guys that get bent out of shape about him, that's the part I didn't mention. You guys get all bent out of shape about him mocking Charlie Kirk's death. People were mocking George Floyd's death. All the white kids I seen taking pictures with knees on people's necks. But again, they had the right to do it. Even though it was immorally bankrupt. It was terrible, an ugly, evil thing to do. But they did it, and they mocked them. So, humans are imperfect. And I'm going to end it like this. Humans are horribly imperfect. We are. Imperfect people with imperfect speech. So it's always going to be messy. It's not going to be clean. Someone is always going to say something or do something that you do not like. Yes, we have specific guidelines that we should abide by like not murdering anyone. I don't condone it. And people that say violence is never necessary. But sometimes I don't want you to take what I'm saying out of context. Sometimes it is necessary. I'm going to give you an instance when it's necessary. Self-defense. Because if someone is trying to eliminate you, are you just going to stand there and be eliminated? Or are you going to eliminate them? So I'm never going to be that person to say violence is never necessary. Violence is never the answer. No, I'm never going to say that. Because I'm a firm believer in self-defense. I'm a firm believer in self-defense. But look, that's been the content for today. If you like my content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribe to my channel if you liked it. If you didn't, keep it moving. And leave some comments. Let's have a discussion. I'll keep it respectful if you keep it respectful. Let's utilize and exert our free speech while we still have it.